Hello and welcome back. So in last lecture we have seen costing of element, which is effectively at element eligibility level. So we saw how costing of eligibility, element eligibility is used. But as I said, I will cover the costing type in separate lectures. It's very important. This concept is normal type is costed, which will be normally used. Costed means it will follow the standard hierarchy given by the Oracle. So first it will try to pick from element entry level. If it doesn't get from element entry, then it will go to personal level. If it doesn't get from here, then it will go to position level, then job level, location, department, element level, and payroll level. So this is the normal costed level of costing type. This will be normally used, and you will further see in the lectures. I will always be using costed. So this will be covered in our subsequent videos as well. But there are two other important costing types: distributed costing and fixed costing as well. So in this lecture we will cover distributed costing because its setup is little complex. So let me show you. I have already created an element for this purpose to show you uh, distribution element costing type for distributed. So I have already created an element called test distribution set. So let me show you the element. I'm an element screen. Okay. So see, this screen is elements. I have already created this element that we will be attaching to test that distributed costing. So it's just a standard voluntary reduction element, and everything is as we create as per the normal element. But one important thing is you have to you have to define one input value that will have primary output value as special purpose. Okay. So you have to make an input value, and when you will be creating this input value, you have to attach special purpose primary output value, because when we are attaching the input value for the distribution set, we can only use the input value which is assigned as primary output value. So this is very important while defining the distributed costing. Okay, so now we have defined our element. The next thing is uh, we have to create object group, element group. So for that we have to go to my client group, payroll, you have to come to object group. Here we can create the element group as well and assignment group as well. So we will be creating element group. I have already created, but I'll just show you so that it's clear for you as well. So the one I created was, I created this test element group for distributing. I just name it like this. So when you create this element group, what you have to do, click here. First you have to give the name. You have to select the type element group. You have to select the legislative data group, and then object group parameter, you have to select usage type as distributed group. Okay. And then in the next tab, when you select the distribution group here, then you will go to the next page. Here you will be mentioning the elements you will be using to distribute the costing amongst. Okay. So here we will select, see, you can see I have selected two elements that we will be distributing the costing amongst. So you can include as well, exclude as well. So I'm including these two elements for the distribution set. Okay. So you can see, remember these two elements, because when we will run the costing, you will see the costing is distributed among these two elements. So basic monthly salary and other flexi allowance. I'm not using much for to explain how the distributed costing works. So these two elements, remember, we are adding into our element group. Then we will just click save and submit. So our object group is created. Fine. So now the important thing is, now we are going to define costing. So again, for costing, element eligibility level, we will go to setup and maintenance. We will go to costing of elements. Since our element is already created, it's called test distribution group. See, test distribution set. It's not yet costed. So now we are going to create costing for this one. As always, from 1st of Jan to 1951. Now we are creating the costing element for this element, which will be on element eligibility level. I will select distributed, and distribution group is the same we created here as an element group. So the name is test element group for distribution. Okay, we will select transfer to GL. Then we have to select the input value. As I mentioned you, we created this input value and assigned primary output value. So let me I will assign this primary input value, and let me show you if I don't select primary output value, because let me select pay value and try to save. See, it's saying the input value can't be costed because only the primary output value can be costed when the costing type is distributed. So when we will change it to this creates problem. So now I will create I will select distributed and test element group, transfer to GL. The input value I'm going to select now is primary amount. Now it will not give that error. It will pass, but it will say you have to at least attach one offset account. So that means now we can use this input value. So now we have to attach account. Oops, we have to do it again. Let me do it again. I should have attached the account first. So create costing. Okay, I'm doing this again to show you how exactly it works. Transfer to GL. This is element group, and we added basic salary and flexi allowance in that element group. Cost account, we will leave business unit. Department will take it from payroll. Account we will select. Let us select any account that we are not using in any of our other elements attached to this employee. So let me take for example DNS allowance. We are not using DNS allowance element for this employee, so we can take 5,000 for this one, and company will be 10 business unit. Account, since this is offset account, we have to select payroll clearing account, which is common for all the elements. So now I will create the distributed type costing. What happened? Did we select? What happened? Let me. This is a problem with this screen. If it does not create successfully, it just blanks out, and we have to do it again. Let me select again. Distributed, transfer to GL. Distribution group is test element. Let me add, I think last time I missed it. This element, this input value, you can see is attached as primary output value, this input value. Yeah. So let me, I think we selected 5,000 as a DNS allowance and the cost account, and this was payroll clearing account 3,000. Yep, it's created. Let us verify again as well. So we have distributed costing with this element group, this input value, with this cost account, and this is the offset account. Perfect. So let us now go and attach this element with this employee, and we will run the quick pay and see how the distributed costing works. So let me open payroll and attach this element entries. Our employee number is 91843. Okay, so let us attach this element. Create element entry. Element name is test distribution set. Test distribution set. Yes, I did not make it recurring to just test for 1 month, and we will be attaching it to the primary assignment. Continue, and we'll just give amount 500 and 500. Okay, save, done. So now we have this element attached, for which the costing type is distributed, and the amount is 500. Perfect. So now let us run. Let us see if this he already has quick pay run. If not run, we will run it. There is already quick pay, so we will remove it. Done. So let us run the quick pay now to test the testing how the distributed costing works. We will run the quick pay 91843. Submit. Let's hope everything goes okay. Perfect. So quick pay is run successfully. Let us see first our run results, then we will see the costing. Okay, let us see run results first. Okay, so run result is, we can see test distribution set is also deducted 500, the amount we gave. Okay, so this is basic salary, regular loan amount deduction is already there, but you remember we only selected basic salary and other flexi allowance in the element group. So now let us see the costing. It will be very tricky. I will explain you. There you go. So the costing result is there. Okay. So everything is working as explained previously. Basic monthly is costing as per its own costing. Same is for other flexi allowance, loan amount deduction. Now here the tricky part is test distribution set offset value, that is in debit because it's a deduction. So in deduction case, offset is on the debit side. This is very standard. It went to 3000. You will see here this account offset. This full account combination came from the offset of this element eligibility level, costing of element, and value went 500 here. But in case of costed value, you will notice that this there are two values generated. You can see with the distributed group name as test distribution set and test distribution set. This is coming from the cost account. Yeah. So you will see 5,000 here, dearness allowance, and same is the case for this other 244.9. This 5,000 came from the costed, and since this is deduction, so in case of deduction, as I explained, the costed segment goes towards the credit side. So out of 500, you can see 500 was total deduction. So how 244.9 and 255.1 is distributed? This is where the distribution group works. So you remember we assigned the element group, we distributed the costing between basic monthly salary and other flexi allowance. So what is the amount for basic monthly salary? 12,500. Yeah, 12,500 plus the flexi allowance is 12,000. Okay, so this is total amount. So how much is going into the how the 255 is calculated? It will take the percentage of the basic salary out of total element group value. So let us take now the percentage. Total is 24,500 and the basic salary is 12,500. Yeah. So out, how much is the percentage? This is 1.96, or what we can say is 12,500 divided by 24,500. This is the value it took from the basic salary. So see this amount, when we 500 divided by 500, what is taking like this? Let me calculate again. 12,000. It was 12,500. 12,500 divided by 24,500. Yeah. So this is the amount. This is the percentage for the basic salary. Yeah. So out of 500, it will be 500 multiplied by 500 multiplied by exactly. So we got the percentage of the basic salary. This is 12,500 out of 24,500. So the percentage was 0.5. So same percentage, the value, so the amount for this element was 500. Same percentage is distributed as basic out of basic salary 255.1, 255.1. So if we check the other out of other flexi allowance was 12,000, right? So let us check 12,000 out of 24,500. This is equal to 0.489. Correct? So when we multiply 500 by this value, you will see 24.8979 like this. So it rounded to 244.990. So I hope this is clear to you now. What is the purpose of distribution set? Let me explain you again. In this element, we selected these two elements, that distribute the costing among these two elements. Okay. So here we came, when we ran the 500 value, it distributed the amount 500 as per the distribution done in this element group, basic monthly salary and other flexi allowance. Yeah. So a same percentage is divided for 500 amongst these two, and you will see that distributed element here as well. It will show you, and the account it took from the account combination we gave at the element eligibility level here. So I hope this is clear to you. The purpose of this distributed costing is mostly when we are doing the pension thing, especially in Saudi or UAE, or when we have to do tax calculation. So we just distribute the costing to one element, but as per the calculation from the other elements we want to use. So I hope it's clear to you now. I will see you in the next lecture to explain you the fixed costing.